Hey everyone, this is Daniel from Phone Arena with the Huawei Ascend P1. This is the first phone that the company announced that is bringing its new strategy for becoming one of the best value for money Android manufacturers. It was announced way back in January at CES, and it was promised to arrive for sale in June, as the company did, so now we have it in our hands. Incredibly slim device, 7.7 millimeters here if we don't count the hump here at the back, and the elevated area around the 8 megapixel camera with dual LED flash. It's unibody design, which means you have a sealed battery inside. There's no battery cover to remove. You have this fused black and white in our version. They're always pink and black versions if you don't like this thing, but this is a nice yin-yang harmony here with the black and white. The tapered edges here on the back help hold it more comfortably, since it's a bit slippery on the back, and since it's very light at 110 grams, 388 ounces. It is also an incredibly compact device for a 4.3 incher. We have a micro SD card slot, thankfully, for storage expansion. The SIM card slot is here at the top with a protective lid. We also have an MHL port for TV out, and the volume rocker as well as the power lock key are easy to find and press with good tactile feedback. Let's have a look at the screen. We have an AMOLED display, 540 by 960 pixels, QHD resolution. It's pentile matrix, but you won't notice it unless you're deliberately looking at solid colors for this screen door effect, or when text is enlarged, you'll see a bit jagged lines there, but that's about it. Otherwise, the screen exhibits the usual virtues for Super AMOLED, which are very high contrast, very nice saturated colors. Black is true black, as you can see, and very wide viewing angles. On top of that, this screen is pretty bright for a Super AMOLED display, so unless you have the sun shining directly on it, you won't have trouble with outdoor visibility. Android ice cream sandwich is what we have on the Huawei Ascend P1, as Google intended it. It's stock, as you can see. It provides a couple of themes, light themes with different size of the icons to switch to if you get bored by stock Android, but these are still pretty light. Only the iconography is changed. All the apps stay stock Android, and that's a great thing. There's even a 3D theme, so all the grounds are covered in terms of interface, but it leaves you the choice to just switch to stock Android ice cream sandwich. We also like that Huawei hasn't installed much, if any, bloatware. It just made this handy tools folder here, which houses the calculator notes and so on. And it also supplied a file browser, handy Notes app, and the Office viewer. The only other app partnership seems to be Music Plus right here, which introduces folder view for your tunes, and SoundCloud as well. And these are the only non-native apps on the Huawei Ascend P1 we have here. Thanks to the narrow elongated profile of the handset and the excellent Android ICS keyboard, typing with one hand is a breeze. You'll reach anywhere on the screen, even without stretching too much across the display. And this blue theme is pretty catchy. Let's fire up the browser now and check how it performs. The stock ICS browser runs pretty smooth on the Ascend P1, powered by the dual-core 1.5 GHz Texas Instruments OMAP processor, the same that we have on the Galaxy Nexus. Scrolling with it, pinching to zoom, panning around are all quite fluid, and text reflow takes just a split second to fit the article in the screen width for easy reading. No complaints about the browser on the Huawei Ascend P1. You've got two choices for a music player: the default Android ICS one, which categorizes by artists, albums, playlists, and so on. Very capable music player. There are a couple of equalizers and sound effects you can apply to tunes. Or if you want folder categorization, Huawei has included Music Plus. You have your music folders right here. The loudspeaker is pretty average in terms of sound output, and it's also a bit flat sounding. There's Dolby Mobile, which makes a difference, as you can hear, in loudspeaker mode as well. But since the loudspeaker itself is pretty average, you'll need a pair of high quality in-ear headphones to take full advantage of Dolby Mobile. The phone plays MPEG-4 files up to 1080p definition without a problem. It renders them perfectly. There's Dolby Mobile, as you can see, in the video player as well, which makes a difference. You can share the videos on social networks, YouTube, and so on. But the phone doesn't run DivX X30 files like this one. It runs them, but they get rendered by software. No hardware acceleration, so they look pretty pixelated. So you'll have to hit the Play Store. The camera interface, it's pretty simple, yet with an abundance of features like group mode, HDR, face tracking, panorama, low light. There's an abundance of effects you can apply to your photos, including these entertaining face warping effects for a lot of fun with your friends. There's also a full set of image adjustments. And you need these adjustments since the pictures from the 8 megapixel module with dual LED flash are nothing breathtaking. It still came out as a decent camera, especially when we consider the zero shutter lag and burst shot modes made possible by Android ICS, but the colors are a bit colder than reality, and photos very often get overexposed, which overshadows a good level of detail and decent sharpness without much noise. Inside, the photos turned out pretty soft. You can up the contrast and saturation one notch in the settings for more eye-appealing photos. The 1080p video capture looks again a bit bland in terms of color representation, but it takes in a decent level of detail, and it's recorded with smooth 30 frames per second. Moreover, you get a somewhat nervous continuous autofocus. Huawei is certainly on the right track with the Ascend P1. It is thin, light and stylish on the exterior, while capable on the interior with its dual-core processor. Some trade-offs are introduced to seal its mid-range fate though, like a non-HD screen and 4 GB of internal memory, of which only 2.3 are user accessible. But the Super AMOLED display is great for watching videos. There's a micro SD card slot for storage expansion, and the sealed batteries with quite the endurance. So all these before minor quibbles. We really liked that Huawei introduced stock ICS as default interface, adding a few easy to switch to themes, which only change the iconography here on the home screens and in the main menu, and that's about it. There is even a 3D theme, so there's something for everybody here to choose from, but the default interface is stock Android, which is great for those Android purists out there. We'd like to see a bit more capable camera, but it's still neither better nor worse than your average smartphone cam, and it has quite the number of functionalities and effects you can apply to your pictures and videos. They just turn out very often overexposed and with bland colors. Good current alternatives are the Sony Xperia P or the HTC One X, for example, and these are both formidable competitors. The Xperia P might be a bit thicker, but its camera performs much better, and it has one of the brightest smartphone displays out there, while the HTC One S has a superb design and a pretty capable cam and more memory than the Ascend P1 here. What Huawei's phone has going for it is the design and the stock ICS interface, which will appeal to many, plus the good all-around package. Yet considering it's the gateway phone for Huawei's Android onslaught, the Chinese should be very careful with the pricing scheme if they want to establish the company as the best value for money smartphone maker. This was a video review of the Huawei Ascend P1 from Phone Arena. For more information about this and other handsets, you can visit us at phonearena.com. Thanks for watching.